I'm going to be sharing a passage from Romans 8 in just a moment, but first, let's talk about the fact that my husband, who loves me and knows how much I love sugar, but knows that I shouldn't be eating that much sugar, how he simply came and put a single tiny Reese's cup right in front of me. And he beckoned me to eat this tiny, innocent-seeming piece of candy. And it's Valentine's Day, and isn't that so wonderful, so thoughtful of my dear husband, Shane? But here's what he didn't realize. There is no part of me that wants a single tiny miniature Reese's cup. I want the entire bag of Reese's, right? Is anyone like this? Some of you, you're so good at moderation, but others of you, you're like me, and if you just have a little bit of sugar, it just makes you want more and more and more and more and more. Why am I talking to you about sugar? Let's read Romans 8. For those who live according to the flesh set their minds on the things of the flesh, but those who live according to the Spirit set their minds on the things of the Spirit. Here's the spiritual principle from Romans 8. What you feed yourself is what you will ultimately desire. What desires you decide to give into will ultimately control the pathway of desire in your life. So when Shane innocently set down that Reese's in front of me, that was a moment where I had to choose. And I'm going to be honest with you, I chose to eat so many Reese's that night. But you and I, we have so many more important decisions than whether we're going to be eating a bunch of Reese's. We have decisions on whether we are going to feed unforgiveness or whether we are going to feed honor. We have decisions about whether we are going to feed peace or whether we are going to feed anxiety. We have decisions about whether we are going to feed anger or we are going to feed love. There are a million crossway decisions in our life. And the question is, will we be feeding the desires of the flesh or will we be feeding the desires of the Spirit? Because when we feed the desires of the Spirit, they lead to life, Romans tells us. And when we feed the desires of the flesh, they lead to death. And you might be in this moment where you're just thinking, just giving in a little, just giving in a little bit to this urge to do something that you know is actually not right to do. Maybe you're nursing this ruminating thought, and you know that the right thing is to supplant that thought with a better thought, but instead you're nursing it, and you keep going around and around and around in your brain around this thought that you know really shouldn't be taking root. What are you feeding in your life? Because we as believers, we have these crossroads moments every single part of our day, and they really matter. They set the trajectory of our life. If you can look at your day and actually catalog what are the desires of my flesh that I'm just constantly feeding into. Take a moment today and actually write it down. This is what my flesh wants. That part of me that doesn't belong to God, but is being transformed day by day. What do I want that is according to the flesh? And then on the other side, what do I want that is according to the Spirit, that I know honors Jesus and the life that He has called me to live, whether that be a life of love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, and self-control? What is the Spirit desiring for me that I can be feeding? Put those down on paper and simply offer up that paper to the Lord and say, God, every moment of my day, when I come to a crossroads, help me to choose the desires of the Spirit, because that's what I want to feed in my life. And the more that you feed what the Spirit craves, the more the flesh will die. And those old pathways in your brain and in your heart and in your body, they will no longer be there because you will have replaced them with what the Spirit calls us to. I hope as you go about your day and you decide to put to death the desires of the flesh and fan into flame the desires of the Spirit, that you find yourself becoming more and more the person that God created you to be, living the fullness and abundance of life that He offers us. I hope that encourages you.